Hello, sixth graders, and happy Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about dividing fractions. By the end of this lesson, you'll be an expert. Let's get started. I know you can do it, and so does Mr. Smiles. Today in this video, we're going to talk about two things: writing division problems as fractions and actually dividing with fractions. Go ahead and start by filling out your champion's creed at the top of your paper. Do that now. Remember that we can represent division problems as fractions. For example, if I said 4 divided by 7, how would I write that answer as a fraction? I would write it as 4/7. What if I said 7 divided by 4? How would I write that answer as a fraction? I would write 7/4. Let's look at some word problems and see how we could represent them as fractions. Miss Tramontosi bought 3 pizzas for her after-school tutoring group. 8 students split the pizzas evenly. How many pizzas did each student receive? What's being split up in this problem? 3 pizzas are being split up. So what division problem could we use to answer this? We could use 3 divided by 8. 3 pizzas split across 8 people. So what's the answer? What fraction of a pizza did each student receive? Each student received 3/8 pizzas. Now you try one. Michael had 5 candy bars. He let 6 friends share the candy bars evenly. How many candy bars did each friend receive? What's being split up in this problem? The 5 candy bars are being split up in this problem. That's the dividend. So what division problem could we use to solve it? We could use 5 divided by 6. What's 5 divided by 6? What fraction of a candy bar would each friend receive? Each friend would receive 5/6 of a candy bar. Sometimes we'll get an improper fraction as our answer. Let's look at the next question. Mr. Gibson was making meatloaf. He had 14 ounces of ground beef. He put the same amount in each of 3 meatloaves. How many ounces of ground beef were used in each meatloaf? What's being split up in this problem? The 14 ounces of ground beef are being split. So what division sentence could I use to solve this problem? I could use 14 divided by 3. Write 14 divided by 3 as an improper fraction. Well, 14 divided by 3 is the same as 14/3. I know that I shouldn't leave my answer as an improper fraction. What operation can I use to change 14/3 into a mixed number? I can divide. 14 divided by 3. How many times does 3 go into 14? 3 goes into 14 4 times. What's 3 times 4? It's 12. What's 14 minus 12? It's 2. So what's my mixed number? It's 4 and 2/3. We'll do one more together. Elijah needed to read 11 more books to reach his AR goal. He decides to read them in 4 days. How many books does Elijah need to read each day? What's being split up here? 11 books are being split across 4 days. So what's our division sentence? It's 11 divided by 4. How would I write 11 divided by 4 as an improper fraction? It's 11/4. Go ahead and change 11/4 into a mixed number now. When 11/4 is written as a mixed number, the answer is 2 3/4. Now you try a couple problems on your own. Kimani had 8 cups of flour that she used to make 6 batches of cookies. How many cups of flour were in each batch? 4/3 cups of flour were in each batch. The 8 cups of flour are being split up across 6 batches of cookies. That means 8 divided by 6. 8 divided by 6 can be written as 8/6. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Go ahead and change 4/3 into a mixed number now. 4/3 written as a mixed number is 1 1/3. Let's look at another one. Adriana used 4 cups of flour in 10 cupcakes. How many cups of flour were in each cupcake? Go ahead and answer that problem now. 2/5 cups of flour were in each cupcake. 4 cups of flour are being split across 10 cupcakes. That means that it's 4 divided by 10. 4 divided by 10 can be written as 4/10. When I simplify, I get 2/5. Today our main focus is on practicing dividing by fractions. We're going to use a tape diagram for the first example. Then we're going to use the standard algorithm. Let's do 2 divided by 3/4. I know that this means 3/4 times some number equals 2. When I draw my tape diagram, how many pieces do I need to split it into? I need to split it into 4 pieces because that's the denominator. How many pieces do I need to split the 2 across? I need to split the 2 across 3 pieces because that's the numerator. So if I'm splitting 2 across 3 pieces, what fraction goes inside of each box? What's 2 divided by 3? It's 2/3. I can see that I have 4 groups of 2/3. What's 4 times 2/3? Write your answer as an improper fraction. It's 8/3. Go ahead and change 8/3 into a mixed number now. 8/3 is 2 2/3. So 2 divided by 3/4 is 2 2/3. Now let's show how we can use multiplying by the reciprocal to solve the same problem. 2 divided by 3/4. 2 is my dividend, so it doesn't change. When I divide fractions, I can multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. I can multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. So 2 stays the same. What's the reciprocal of 3/4? It's 4/3. What's 2 times 4/3? It's 8/3. I already know that 8/3 is equal to 2 2/3. So I can see that I got the same answer either way, whether I used my tape diagram or my standard algorithm. Let's do another example. 3 divided by 4/5. This time I'm just going to use the standard algorithm. Remember, 3 is the dividend and 4/5 is the divisor. My dividend is always going to stay the same, but I can multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. What's the reciprocal of 4/5? It's 5/4. Now I can just multiply. What's 3 times 5/4? Write your answer as an improper fraction. It's 15/4. Go ahead and change 15/4 into a mixed number. The correct answer is 3 3/4. 3 divided by 4/5 is 3 3/4. What's 5 divided by 2/3? Remember, what's the dividend in this problem? 5 is the dividend. What's the divisor? 2/3. So 5 stays the same. What's the reciprocal of 2/3? It's 3/2. Go ahead and multiply 5 times 3/2 now. When you finish, write your answer as a mixed number. The correct answer is 7 1/2. Now you solve the last one. What's 3 divided by 2/5? Go ahead and solve that problem now. This answer is also 7 1/2. We can use the same strategy even when we're dividing 2 fractions. Let's do a tape diagram for the first one as well. 3/4 divided by 1/2. This means that 1/2 of something equals 3/4. So I'm going to split my tape diagram into how many pieces? 2, because 2 is the denominator. And I know 3/4 makes up one of those pieces. So I can multiply 3/4 times 2 to find my answer. That would be 6/4. That's not in simplest form. What goes into both 6 and 4? 2 goes into both. That would leave me with 3/2. Change 3/2 into a mixed number. When I change 3/2 into a mixed number, 2 goes into 3 one time. When I subtract, I have 1 left over. So my answer is 1 1/2. Now let's try it using the algorithm. 3/4 is my dividend and 1/2 is my divisor. So I'm going to keep my dividend the same, 3/4. What's the reciprocal of 1/2? It's 2/1. When I do that, I can see that I get 6/4, which will lead me to the same answer. Now you try one. 3/5 divided by 1/10. What's the dividend in this problem? It's 3/5. What's the divisor in this problem? It's 1/10. So I can write 3/5 times what is the reciprocal of 1/10? It's 10/1. What's 3/5 times 10/1? Write your answer as an improper fraction. It's 30/5. I need to divide to change this into a mixed number or whole number. What's 30 divided by 5? It's 6, with none left over. So the answer is just 6. There are 6/10 inside of 3/5. Let's do another. What's 5/9 divided by 1/3? What's the dividend? It's 5/9. The divisor is 1/3, so I can multiply by the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 1/3? It's 3/1. Now I can multiply. What's 5/9 times 3/1? It's 15/9. Go ahead and change 15/9 into a mixed number. Now, when I do that, I get 1 6/9. That's not in simplest form. What's the largest number that goes into both 6 and 9? It's 3. When I simplify my fraction, what is it? It's 2/3. So the answer is 1 2/3. Now you try one completely on your own. What's 2/3 divided by 3/5? The correct answer is 1 1/9. 3/5 is the divisor, so I need to multiply by its reciprocal. That's 5/3. 2/3 times 5/3 is 10/9, which is the same as 1 1/9. Flip to the practice page and try 4 more problems. What's 2 divided by 5/6? Write your answer as a mixed number. The correct answer is 2 2/5. 2 divided by 5/6 is the same as 2 times 6/5, or 12/5. When I change that to a mixed number, I get 2 2/5. Try another. What's 4 divided by 2/3? The correct answer is 6. 4 divided by 2/3 is the same as 4 times 3/2. What's 3/8 divided by 3/4? Solve that problem now. Make sure you write your answer in simplest form. The correct answer is 1/2. 3/8 divided by 3/4 is the same as 3/8 times 4/3. That would give you 12/24. If I divide both by 12, the answer is 1/2. Now let's try another. What's 3/4 divided by 3/8? Here the answer is 2. I would do 3/4 times 8/3, or 24/12. That would give me 2. You've done a great job on this video. Now it's time to go to tinyurl practice. Type in the link and get started on your Khan Academy.